Man, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I know everyone's at home watching the big game. Go Bucks on the Buckeyes home front. It's your main man, the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. Make sure you do a few things for me tonight before we get started. Make sure you like us. Make sure you share with your friends and your family. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the show. Tonight, we got another interesting show. We're going to be talking again, quarter by quarter of sports. We got another young lady on tonight that's going to give you the roundabouts of how she created an interesting twist to let women know how to gain access and more knowledge about what just happened in sports. You know what I'm saying? But before we do that, you already know what I'm going to tell you, right? Val, drop it.
Why can't I just come on and say drop it?
Hey, I like that too.
Here we go.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show on this nice Monday night. Got our boys playing right now. Val, I must love y'all to death. Buckeyes and Notre Dame is playing right now. My Buckeyes up 20-7 right now in the second quarter, going to halftime. What y'all say? Because Coach Tony about to get paid.
For promotional purposes only, for any advice that Coach Tony has provided for you, the listening audience. We thank you.
Let me tell you something. If the listening audience would have been listening, y'all could have paid several mortgage payments, maybe even paid off your house. And depending on what you put up for promotional purposes only, you could maybe even have a good retirement package.
I mean, so there's a wonderful game that's happening right now because we're getting ready to determine who are going to be the four teams that will be the AFC champions and then the NFC champions for NFL, because we're leading up to the Super Bowl, which will be in Las Vegas, first part of February. Are you excited? I know I am.
I'm excited. Again, big night tonight, the Buckeyes, Notre Dame. Before we jump onto the pros, I want to make sure they understand that brother Marcus Freeman is one of the first black coaches to have an opportunity to win a national championship game tonight in college football. So I want to make sure I mention that. And more importantly tonight, as I gave a solid message tonight earlier, as I put out my tagline, we're here on the one and only grateful Martin Luther King's holiday weekend, weekday rather, third Monday in January. This is not possible, what Val and I do, without the likes of Brother King and what he did for us in the civil rights movement, and making sure it's just not a day to take off of work. It's a day of celebration, but more important, it's a day of learning and understanding where we came from, what we got to do, and where we're going in the future. So continue to learn, educate, but more importantly, do not allow them to take the past from us, because you're only as good as where you come from.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. That is so true. And of course, a lot of things have been happening on today, but I made sure that I posted, I'm going to be doing what Michelle is doing. And that for me is to make sure and to go ahead and make sure that I am honoring a man who fought for many of the civil liberties that we celebrate and can participate in this country, that he fought for back in the 50s and 60s for us. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has always been celebrated in our American history, but I want to say I'm grateful. It took a while. It took singing from Stevie Wonder and a lot of marching, but we now acknowledge every third Monday of January as MLK Day. And we want to say happy MLK Day to each and every one of you. And of course, do us a major favor. Let somebody know that you are. I'm Martin Luther King Jr., not Malcolm.
MLK, baby. I was going to wear my MLK hat tonight. I forgot to put it on. But as you just alluded to as well, right now for those big fans, the Buckeyes up 21-7 at the halftime. Yay, yay. So that's what we're talking about. And we keep it pushing. But yes, great mention. This weekend in the NFL playoffs, oh my God. We talked a little bit about that over the last few weeks, Val, of just getting to a situation where basically you have an opportunity. Yesterday, we're riding on the verge of history yesterday in the NFL playoff. Do you know what that history possibly was?
I bet it has something to do with the quarterbacks. What
Yes.
exactly?
Man, Val, we had an opportunity almost, but we're at least 75%. 75% ain't bad. We still passed the test. But we almost had 100% participation of African-American quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history. Two African-American starting quarterbacks would have been possibly facing each other. On the AFC front, we already got pretty boy Patrick Mahomes in there. And we almost got his homeboy down the street, as we say, down the street from him, in Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, but they fell very short to Josh Allen, because Josh said, hey, man, I got to let one of the majority get up in here, too. Y'all can't, all y'all brothers, I know it's Martin Luther King birthday coming, but, man, can a homie get in? So he made sure he squeezed to the door. But on the NFC front, we are guaranteed, Val, guaranteed from the NFC, a black quarterback. So we got Jalen Hunt with the Philadelphia Eagles, played very well yesterday. The Eagles moving on. And then my main man, the rookie of them all, Jaden Daniels. Oh, my goodness, that boy is ridiculous. He got Washington back in the playoff for the first time since we came out of school 30 years ago. So, come on now. What?
All right.
Hey,
that's what you
call weight. I know the Bears. Man, do you know this year with the Bears has been since 1984 with the Bears?
We won. And
that's 86. Right. No. We were in the Super Bowl. We won in 84. I'm sorry, 86 Super Bowl.
80, we won in 86, right?
Yeah, 86 Super Bowl. Then we went back to the Super Bowl with Frazier a few years ago, and we lost it.
Yeah, that's but right. all I'm saying is that the great thing about what's happening is that a lot of the players that are here that are doing their thing, it's going to be fun to see who will be the two quarterbacks, their teams that'll be going and facing off head to head in the Super Bowl. You have made so many predictions throughout the season on who should possibly be. And I'm excited to say that just about everyone that you have predicted that got to this point are in the playoffs. You excited about that?
Man, let me tell you something. If I knew what I knew that was going to be true for promotional purposes only, Val, I think I'd have left you a while ago and became a bookie, because I had no idea. And what's up, Springer baby in the house? And what's up, Coach Tony and Val on this happy MLK Day. Hey, we missed you last week, Springer. So thanks for checking in today, baby. But Val, again, like I said, put that back up what we were talking about. If I'm looking at those teams that we got matched up, and as I was going through those teams and giving the selections coming out, I went undefeated. I am undefeated in college, 10-0 in the national championship game tonight. In pro football, the only game that I lost in pro football, I had the Eagles first round, had the Eagles again. I got the Eagles all the way to the Super Bowl. I had Washington. I had Minnesota, which they got upset. I got the Commanders where they are, but I had Detroit Lions. Detroit upset me, so that was 2 losses. Then on the opposite side, I had KC going all the way, and then I had Baltimore Ravens, and they lost. So I've lost 3 major games, but I got the 2 teams that I thought was going to be there. So I'm 50% in right now. I've got KC and Philly, and I got KC and Philly in the Super Bowl game, and then I'll give you my winner over the next week when that happens.
Yeah, I think I would love to see KC play again. And here's the thing: if they go ahead and win, it'll be a three-peat. And there has been no NFL team in NFL history that has done a three-peat. Now, I thought about the Patriots, but they have a lot of rings, but they didn't win back to back to back 3 times in a row. So this is interesting.
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you. Excuse me. Speaking of, got something stuck in my throat.
He's thinking about the things that he's going to be winning, ladies and gentlemen, because of all the stuff that he's been doing.
Speaking of interesting, so that we can also get another take on this, we're going to bring my girl out because I want to hear what she has to say too. And we're going to bring her out to the show, my girl, Melissa Anthony. And she has a platform that she helps out women understanding what just happened. So, and I laughed because I thought about it, Val. You know, you ever sit in the sports, you ever sit in the stands and you look around and there's a play and something just went on. And you over there talking to Melissa, y'all just run off at the mouth, ain't paying no attention to the game. And then all of a sudden, your baby done scored a basket and you turn around and everybody cheering. You turn around and say, what just happened?
What just happened?
What you mean what just happened, girl? Your baby just scored. That's what just, and now you're mad as hell because he don't score again the rest of the damn game. So you sitting there and then he gets in the car and get in the car like, Mama, did you see me score that basket? Then you got a lie. Yeah, baby, yeah, it was real good.
Baby, you did real good. I saw you. I saw you, baby. Yeah, baby, I saw you. Baby, I saw you.
Man.
Welcome,
what's
Melissa.
good, Melissa? What's good? Hey, did I tell it? Was I pretty much right on point with that?
You were on point, but y'all were on point, and yes, there were many a time I was like, yeah, I saw that. I did see that. I saw it and didn't see it. So yeah.
Right, you got to be sitting there like, well, I'm about to ride this one all the way out. I want to ride it out. I can't change. And after the game, just to get his mind, I'll be like, where are we going? McDonald's or Wendy's? What you want? Which one you want?
That's exactly right.
McDonald's
around here.
Man, welcome to the show. For ladies and gentlemen, it's my home girl. We go back like a bag of potato sacks. You know what I'm saying? We go back in the day. This is my role.
You're her 2 kids, Coach.
Oh man, beautiful! Look at that. Yeah, and both of them looking down at Mom. You know, like, what's up?
I know us 5'2" girls is a challenge. It's now a challenge. So yes, and I actually have a third one who just happened not to be in that picture, who's about the same height as my son. So yes, blessed with 3 children.
Yeah, Hey, you know, and they grown now. Almost they growns, as they say. They growns now.
They grown and almost totally out of my pocket. Almost totally.
Right. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. Mine grown with 2 grandkids and in my pocket every freaking week. I wish you could say, man. And if she ain't up in the pocket, my grandbaby like, Papa, look, let me holler at you. She called me over. You know how you walk down the street in a big city and the bomb be over there like, hey, yo, Melissa, let me holler at you real quick. Let me holler at you. Like, what you want to holler at me about? You know, you got any spare change? You know, like, no, you got a spare job and no spare change. Like Robin Harris used to say, man. So they ain't, hey, trust me, you gonna hit me back in a few years like, Coach Tony, you told me. Like, yep. Man, let's get these people in on this. Yo, Venture, you coming out? Val, take that down for 1 second. So we're gonna make sure these people get to know where my girl's coming from when we talk about that. So you coming up out of Virginia,
yes.
By the way, William Fleming High School, had a great opportunity, and class of '80, and then you move on to Charlottesville and go to the University of Virginia. Now, cool part about it, there you go, you down there with the Cavs. The real Cavs, but at that time, Ralph Sampson was the man on the yard.
Ralph Sampson was the man. He was the tallest man and the most popular man. They wanted to actually put up a statue of him when I was there. I think it didn't, because he was a student and didn't get passed. But Ralph will always be a monument to those of us who were there during that time.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. And you guys had a pretty big popular thing going on, and then all of a sudden Fast forward some 30 years, or actually 40 years, and then you see the devastation that happened in Charlottesville. How'd that make you feel?
Whew, that's a tough one, Tony. That's a tough one. It was hard. It's been all of us, and especially the Black community. We've come together and really, tried to support one another. We've had, sent letters, and we go back to Black Alumni Weekend, and we meet with the president, and it's brought us together. So much that's happened. It's really devastating, but we are on the upswing, and we're continuing to be supportive of one another, and just keep us in your prayers as we continue to rebuild.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. In high school, did you have the opportunity in high school where did you play sports? Or you just kind of was that smart student. Then when you went on to Virginia Internet, you just kind of say, hey, I'm going into college, enjoy school, and just be a student.
So I did pretty well in school, and I was not athletic enough to play any sport. I tried out for all the teams in middle school. I was a cheerleader in middle school, but
I can figure you was a cheerleader. That's what I was figuring you was on the sideline. Give me a seat, great,
I was not that good at one. I was not that good. And then I was a flag girl for a while in high school. And after that, traveling with the band. So that was a lot of fun. But my mother was a school teacher. She was always on me about studying and all that good stuff. So I had pretty decent grades, and, a group of us, decided to go to UVA. I thought about Hampton. I thought about Hampton really hard, but, so I might have missed some opportunities there, but, UVA was an awesome experience back in the day. We had a good time, and we learned a lot. Thomas Jefferson's University is what we call it.
There you go. You get an opportunity to play as the Divine Nine while you was on the yard at all?
Yes. Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
Well, I said to let them know. Right, that's why she got that. I'm surprised she started ski-weeing up on the show or some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Ski-wee, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, Woodsy Owl #2. So there we are. There we.
You know what I tell all my sisters that I know that are AKAs. It wouldn't be a good AKA running around without a kappa in the middle. This is how we do the bros.
Oh Lord.
Y'all just be running around be alpha. Alpha. No. So, we just have to break it down. Look at that. She come back up on here right now. That's what I'm to say. What's she talking about?
Yeah, there's some truth to that. There's a little truth. There's a little truth to it, Val.
Hey, Val, you got to stay on here. I don't know where Val just jumped off. Yeah, you got to stay up in it. So,
Tony, you're Kappa?
Come on now. It's only one way to go.
Oh, I didn't know.
Look at he chose the color scheme of this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see, okay. I got Val plussed out in that beautiful crimson. You know what I'm saying? I got crimson and cream. Okay. You know what I mean? That's that. Yeah. I'm a brother. I'm a brother of Diggs, University of Indiana, 1911. That's how we do.
Okay. Oh, that's 08. All right. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay. All right.
I wouldn't be a good producer if I didn't mention that we're a little overtime in the first quarter.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't jump in so good. Before we come back, we having so much fun. That's what I love around here. But we got to pay these bills before they cut the lights off on me and Melissa. We ain't gonna be able to talk. So Val, pay some bills. We'll be right back. You listen to your boy, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Hey, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show. This is your main man, the one and only Coach Tony. And we have my girl sitting here chilling in the studio with us, Melissa Anthony, And of course, you know, my roadie right here, the one and only, right there, right there, right there, Val the Voice Johnson. You know, Melissa, we go back, you know, and Val don't even know this, but you know, as our tie-in coming together, everybody, Melissa and I have been knowing each other well over 30 years already.
Yeah.
And we are actually two of the pioneers that are on this show that actually was very instrumental in growing what we call that cell phone that you use today.
Yeah.
Way back in the old Nextel days when they were coming out with cellular devices, selling phones around $1,800, $2,000 when we were starting to sell and push them on the streets. And there were only a handful of people, government, police, construction, park districts, and things of that nature. So it wasn't like the local dude just walk in the store and buy a phone. And she and I have been connected since then. So that lets you know about friendships and things of that nature as we talk about holding on to good people that you know. This is a perfect example of that.
Okay. And
Thank you.
one thing that I'm really fascinated with is just your trajectory of your career, which is the essence of how you got started with getting involved with teaching others about sports. I'm so excited about that because Coach is the ultimate sports guy. So seeing that connection early on, like what said to you, this is something I know I can get started and people will invest and really embrace learning about sports. You got started about 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, just about 10 years ago. And let me just back up and talk to y'all a little bit about Tony. Tony has always been this way. He's always been outgoing. He was a stellar salesperson. My husband and I met him when we went on a president's trip, I think to Puerto Rico or Cancun or
It was Cancun.
And so, you know, Tony has always just brought the energy. Everybody loves Tony. He's always just been, you know, just a salesperson, and just extremely professional. Always had that smile. Everybody's just attracted to him. So I'm so glad we have stayed in touch through the years. And so ironically, you know, Tony and I talked about this in the past, Val. When I coming from Virginia, UVA, where football was not all that hot, right? And from Roanoke, Virginia, where there's no professional team. You know, I never dated any athletes. So
and down the street from Virginia Tech.
And now Virginia Tech was a different story as far as football was concerned. They were in a different league, you know. So long story short, I got down to Georgia where I realized that sports is a religion. So, and I wasn't ready for all the religion that was going on, all the religious talk that was going on. So, and it was when we were both at Nextel. And so I asked, you know, and things were going well. You know, Tony and I were making our way up, but I started to realize as the deals got larger, I needed to be able to break the ice with folks higher up in certain businesses, and I just couldn't have the football conversation. So I asked one of the women, the only female VP that Tony, and he happens to know her. She was the only female VP with the company, at least in the Southeast region that I knew of. And I asked her, you know, hey, will you just go with me on a mentoring lunch? And she did. And I said, you know, how do you make it as the only woman in these meetings? You know, that industry was wild and woolly, and it was fast paced, and you just had to fit in where you could get in. And, you know, it was just, it was a different era. And so I asked her, hey, what do you do? She said, I do two things, Melissa. This is on the mentoring lunch. She said, I read Time magazine cover to cover, and I read Sports Illustrated cover to cover, and I'll never be left out of any conversation. And I was like, oh.
So imagine, Val, and think about today's climate, right? It's politics, it's sports. Everything else in the middle, if you can mention, right? And we're talking about 30 years later, right? We're talking about 30 years later, and politics and sports still ring out. If you understand what's going on the political front, and you have an opinion about that, then that'll carry you half of your meeting. And then if you know a little bit about a particular sports team, that's the other part of your meeting. And now, based on what team that you got, you do well. I had Melissa laughing on one of my sales. I had a guy from St. Louis that was all about the Cards. Now, Val, I'm right here, big time White Sox fan. But my boy's like, not the day in this meeting, dude, you a Cardinals fan. So I'm like, cool. I know I don't like the Cubs at the crib. I'm all White Sox Southside. So when I went to that meeting, we got to talk about baseball and the Cards so much, we totally forgot about why I was there. And then he just said, hey, man, just send me an invoice. And I had people that, like she said, I was out there so wild. I had people that didn't even know my name. They just know phone man. Like, I don't give a damn what you call me. Just sign this invoice, Because Melissa, tell you, back in the day, we were selling products, Val. A 10 phone line deal was costing clients $15,000. And we were selling phones. Yeah, you didn't have the money to buy. We were leasing the phones in order to purchase. And that's why all that lease to buy right now is coming back at $1,000 a phone. They're getting back to the old ways we used to do it now with the devices with more information in them.
Yeah. It was something. So yes, and later on, Tony and Val, I learned that some of my sales colleagues would, before they go into appointments, they would call their brothers or their play brothers or somebody and say, hey, this is what I think I saw on sports something last night. What do I need to know? Let me confirm this because I have an appointment today. So once again, I think especially women in sales, women in corporate America, sports moms and sports boos, that's our target market. It's just, folks who I think it's always helpful and, to be able to follow that sports conversation. And even, for women who are on that Monday morning Zoom call, there's that. Okay. We know everybody needs to be ready for that Monday morning Zoom call. What happened in sports? Because that's going to be the first 5 minutes. That's going to be, you know it. And so I just want women to follow the conversation, even if we don't know everything or, can't drop names. I just want us to follow the conversation and feel included. That's kind of.
How many names did you throw around before you decided to come up with what just happened?
Well, there were a few. That's a great question, Tony.
Us. What just happened was, we all get that one. But I was curious about that.
Well, there were some, and I wanted to kind of keep it funny. I wanted to keep it lighthearted. Because I take myself seriously, but not crazy serious. So, I was always asking my husband or my son, what just happened, and so. I ran it past a couple of friends and they were like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. That, sounds intriguing. So I cannot remember because it was about 10 years ago. I cannot remember the other names, funny enough, though, I've had some folks in marketing and said, would you like to do a rebrand? But anyway, I'm not doing a rebrand. I'm leaving the same logo and the same company name because, who knows where my empire will go to with what just happened. There might be other things that we do under the What Just Happened brand.
I like that. I like so Val putting up your friends. Who are some of these friends that she's showing right here?
Oh, no, those are some of my girlfriends who were also in sales when we were at ADP. That's Shalitha and Dana. And so that event was actually a fashion show that we had. There was a local company that lent us some clothes to wear, some gear to wear. And so I can't remember if they were some of my models or not, but there were some other models in the background. So that was an event. We brought in a couple of NFLers and they shared their stories and we did the fashion show. So it was at a local sports bar here in the Atlanta area.
Melissa, quick question for you. Like, how are you able to, reach out to either former NFL or current NFL players to attend your events and to talk about what sports and what plays are to your audience and to your members?
Val, it ain't easy. It ain't easy because I have to prove to him who is this girl calling me and why is she calling me? And, I have one who makes, he asks a lot of questions. He's a good guy, but asks a lot of questions because I think some of the NFLers get hit up, from so many different people for so many different reasons. And we're going to talk, I guess, in a little while about an event that I'm hosting with an NFLer this weekend. And that one just sort of worked out nicely. I was at a networking event and someone had invited him there. And it was just like, it was just perfect. And actually, I just got an email from somebody who wants to introduced me to a sports official, NFL official. So, things are starting to happen and word is starting to get out slowly but surely. But I do have to prove myself and, share some names and drop names and tell folks, here's what we're about.
Right, that's good. And Val got that question a little ahead of me, but we're going to take a halftime break real quick and pay some more bills. I got to go ahead and talk to this team. Be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Hey, it's your main man, right back at you, coming live here from the Rise Studios. And it's your guy talking about what? Pull Up Podcast Show. What is the Pull Up Podcast Show? It's a brand new podcast hitting your airways nationwide, talking everything on sports, from baseball, basketball, hockey, and then I tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure, if you want your questions answered, you want to have fun talking a lot of sports, make sure you pull up on me, because it's the Pull Up Podcast Show.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up.
Also, for those that want to learn a little bit more about this right here, oh yeah, that right there, that's the Rise, NIL, talking name, image, and likeness. Those having opportunities, getting paid, you want to tune in to it.
Sports show, let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Let's go.
Man, I be bouncing every time I hear my nephew track over there, Melissa. He right down the street from you in Douglasville,
Today we're going to talk about the business of
Val,
football.
you got a video that you want to play. Well, what we listening to?
5 of which has women as owners. However, there's never been an African American in ownership in the NFL, at least not yet. But it's been in the news that Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos may put in a bid to buy the Washington Commanders team. The only issue is that 24 of the 32 owners would have to approve of allowing Jay-Z and Jeff to become owners just like them. Crazy. The wealthiest football teams are the Dallas Cowboys, the New England Patriots, and the New York Giants. The Cowboys have a valuation of $6.5 billion with a V. And hey, by the way, the Green Bay Packers are the only publicly traded team you can actually buy stock in the Green Bay Packers. NFL teams get their money from TV contracts, corporate sponsorships, ticket sales, and selling merch. The top position in the NFL is called the commissioner. The commissioner's name, by the way, is Roger Goodell. He pulls in about $65 million, which would put him in the top 6 CEOs. The top paid player, by the way, for 2022 was Tom Brady, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He made $75 million between his salary and endorsement. So that's a quick overview of the financials with the NFL. Be sure to save this and share it with your friends. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Man, that's dope. You know more than you think you know. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
We do a lot of research, and and here's the thing. It is for people love to talk about that stuff. I mean, people love the plays and the players, but it's amazing, especially folks who are out here, entrepreneurs, folks who work. It's always just so interesting to hear about all the money that goes on behind the scenes within the NFL and how the teams are making their money and, how the decisions are made and who's who and all that good stuff. So that's something that we're very interested in too. We love to talk about that stuff.
And the crazy part about it is what's so amazing about it is that you get to triculate that information. So tell everybody, because it's kind of the question that Val was saying a moment ago, when people look at what just happened, and they're thinking about sports, it's not all about sitting on that sideline. It's not all about being in a football stadium or being in the gymnasium on a soccer field. You're actually trying to educate these women of the whole piece of the actual pie. So if they got a son, for example, the only thing I didn't hear you mention, and I'm sure you may have had a piece of it, this past year, it was the first time that majority of mothers who become sports agents, there are 4 mothers who are big-time sports agents from their son going on to the NBA or the NFL, and they're representing their own child. So, awesome. I am trying my best to grab one of the mothers to get on this show to talk about that. Because we always think we got to go get somebody smarter than us, and sometimes the smartest person is right in the house with you.
There you go. There you go. And yes, something else that we do, we have the in-person classes, and we have had classes where actually back during COVID, we did some classes on, oh God, what's the name of the talking app? Clubhouse. And so, we even had classes where women were telling other women how to get your kids from high school and into the football team at a local college, or a national college. What do you have to do? What path do you have to take? So, yes, these moms know a lot. They are excellent managers. And I think, it's awesome to hear that they're being agents. So I'm putting a pin in that. Something else that we do is we host online classes. So we've had companies come to us and say, hey, we have a lot of folks who were not necessarily born in the United States who want to learn all about the NFL, all about the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
So we get, and I usually I've always brought in a professional, an NFLer. And so, folks get really excited to talk to them and to find out, what that's all about. But yeah, we go through the history, we go through, all kinds of the ins and outs of football. But yes, there's all kinds of applications for this knowledge, especially, in male dominated spaces like technology. Folks, a lot of folks in technology, are from outside the United States. So that's a great opportunity for us as well.
Oh, I didn't know your habla español, Miss Señorita. Oh.
That's right. That's right. We got to brush up. We have to brush up and learn, be bilingual,
Hey, we got to stay tight. We got to stay tight. The crazy part about it is that that's amazing, because it's when the people come here, I can get it, because the Europeans come in, the confusion with our American style football and soccer, right? Mm-hmm. And now the game of rugby has grown bigger. And I do love what Roger Goodell has done, because each and every year he plays at least 4 football games, NFL, overseas. They'll play
yes, he does. Yeah.
the preseason game, then they'll play a regular season game, then they'll play one before the playoffs. And I love it. And it's always either in London. Right now, it's been in London and in Germany. And I would love to see it go down to Australia, to Melbourne. I would love to see it go over to Paris, some things of that nature. And they even went to Mexico this past year. So they are trying to branch it out. And I know they're trying to follow the NBA. So the question I've got for you is, with the mothers that you're reaching out on what just happened, do you find their knowledge of basketball, or do you find their knowledge of football is more clear?
Wow. From the conversations I've had, and bear with me, we have not yet had classes on basketball. We're trying to put one together. We really want to put one together to have a watch party for women's basketball. So, hey, Tony, we gotta get on each other's calendar. So, Val, you come on too. We can just go set this all up, Yep. So I think basketball, some folks say, is a little simpler, maybe not as many players on the court, maybe not as many rules. So I have some moms who are mad passionate about basketball, whereas since football is probably the most popular sport in the United States, I think more people seem to have an interest in it and want to learn the nuances. And once again, it seems to be more of the conversation that takes place on that Zoom call, maybe because college football is so popular, like y'all were talking about earlier, and the NFL. I think those are the more popular. So folks want to learn more, and I think there's more nuances to football.
I think it's where you're located at, because basketball is the fastest growing sport worldwide, and you need to have me maybe on one of those weekend Zooms like I do right now. We got one of my special guests, not even my guest, one of my homeboys, St. Louis, and send him out a shout out tonight, Johnny Pratt. He's not on tonight, but he did what you do on the men's side of the house for St. Louis. And I do a 6 p.m. coaching, what I call Coach Tony's Corner, Coach's Corner. 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. They have a fee. They'll Cash App or whatever. We'll get online and go for an hour. And I'll talk about the X's and O's. Now, here's why I say that basketball is much more difficult. I know football, you get to run a play, you got a clock, you get to breathe, whatever. Basketball is constant, like soccer. So you're constantly moving up and down the field, up and down the court. Also with basketball, it moves and changes every 15, 20, 30 seconds. So you constantly got to be watching. You have no idea when a steal is going to occur. You're running offensive plays, defensive sets. You're running pick and roll plays, lob backdoors. I got professional football players, and they love watching basketball only because the way that the basketball players are able to glide through the air and do these certain moves with their bodies and certain things. And you'll be amazed that if you go ask a lot of college football or even pro football players, and a lot of those guys that are very athletic, they got a basketball background. There's a lot of football players that you even can mention to your moms when you're talking to, or your working girls, that they take basketball classes to get footwork. Yes, football players. So those couple drills back and forth, that's defense basketball related. So those are a lot of positive things. And I think that, you're absolutely right. You and I just need to get on the calendar, open up one day, say, hey, Tony, give me an hour, 45, whatever it is, and then send me a Zoom link. I jump in with the ladies and we talk and laugh and joke and whatever it may be, so I can get them to understand. If you were having this Zoom call with me, and this Zoom call was you out of Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, then basketball will be your world, because that's motherland there. Where you're in Georgia, football is king. So yeah. I get it. And so I know you and I spoke even earlier today, we were talking about that, how, the teaching the women the other particular sports, because the one thing I look at it is this. You got a lot of women. So those women probably got a lot of daughters. And we know that the daughters are never going to the NFL. So those women that have those daughters that are going to the WNBA, or like we talked earlier, you heard about the new Unrivaled Basketball, right? That's the play on the WNBA. So Breanna Stewart from New York and Nafisa Collier from Minnesota Lynx, they were in the WNBA championship this year, the two best players. They teamed up. They put their money together. They launched a basketball for all season for the WNBA. So how it works, Melissa, is that without having to send the Breanna, my girl, I forgot. I'm just talking about my girl that went to Russia. I lost the name.
Yeah.
God dog it. Anyway, without having our girls and our women go overseas and take the opportunity to be caught up in some mess, to get Brittany Gaynor. Yeah. Brittany Griner. So when Brittany Griner went overseas and got caught up in the Russia situation on something that was stupid, literally stupid, and almost brought two nations to World War III, and she vowed never to go again. This is great, because we're in the biggest country of all, with the most economical country of all, and you're in a free land. So why go over there be regulated by rules when we can have that at home? So to have Breanna and Nafisa Collier do that, and then to have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and many more of these pros put their money in. And then you have someone smart like Juju Watkins. Think about it. She's a college ball player about to break Caitlin Clark's record and do everything. And she invested into this league as well, Melissa. So she basically said, I'm going to give you some of my NIL money, because I know I'm going to go pro in another year or two, but I'm already a businesswoman. Yeah. Now that's somebody in her corner, very smart.
That's hot. That's hot. Yes. What is a necessity breeds invention. So, they didn't want to have to travel that far to get paid what they ought to get paid. So, so I think that's amazing. And I was not up on that. So I'm going to be looking that league up. And I think it's phenomenal that the college player is getting involved and using her NIL. That's another whole conversation. I want to get invited back so we can talk about NIL.
Right. And that's that money. You're going to come back. And speaking of coming back, we're going to take our last break of the night as we go into the fourth quarter. We talk quarter by quarter sports information with my main girl, Melissa Anthony, on What Just Happened Sports. We're going to come back and talk about Brandon. We're going to come back and talk about her event. We're going to talk about how you can get in touch with her to find out more information. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in Them.
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in them. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like, I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show. We come down the stretch here. It's your main man, the one and only Coach Tony, and my girl, Melissa Anthony from the A-Town up, peace up, A-Town down. That's and by the way,
we can't cover the Usher song. Stop saying it. Stop saying it.
by the way, for some of you guys that don't realize and don't know, this is how far me and Melissa go. We go back almost to that Freaknik situation time during the A back in Atlanta when they were stomping hard.
Sure you want to admit that on international?
Well, I'm just saying.
Do that for real?
I'm just saying, Val. That was a time in the country that they were partying. We didn't say we was getting down doing it. I said that was a festival. That was a festival. You know what I'm saying? It was a black festival.
And it's all this is fuzzy math because I'm barely 35, right. So I don't even know how all this worked out. It's fuzzy math.
That's okay. It must have been an auntie or somebody, but I just know.
Exactly. You have to always be careful about always talking about what happened back in the day.
Man, see, that's what she got. See, what happened was that's what.
Exactly. What just happened? Yes.
What just happened? And speaking of what just happened, you're talking about the future of the brand, and you got an event coming up. Val, let's show that flyer, and we want you to talk to the people a little bit about the event you got coming up.
Okay, well, before we do that, because I put up a slide and you didn't say anything. I got this off of your website. It says, "What Just Happened Sports is the ideal way to get involved with sports, giving knowledge and experience to all levels of sports enthusiasts. What Just Happened Sports makes you never have to ask what just happened," which I think was a beautiful compliment. And another quote that I saw from here, Deion Sanders: "If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good.
Thank
if you
play
good,
say it again. I just told my girl that the other day, Val got the clean warm-ups. Melissa, they clean. I told AP, I said, we run around, we getting beat. Yeah, I understand we having a losing season, but they look good.
They gotta look good. You gotta If you play good, they pay good. He's telling the truth, man. I even have that written here. Look, that's even something I keep here next to me at my office. Just, you just never, sometimes you gotta, you don't feel like getting dressed up, or you don't feel like bringing out your best, and you just got to do that, Val. So, hey, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing both of us.
And now to Tony, he wants we talk about the playbook that's happening this Saturday.
Yes. We are thrilled. And it's kind of funny. You asked, where do I get to meet the NFLers? And this is Mike Haynes, who I actually met at a networking meeting back in October. And the person who brought him to the meeting knew what I did and was like, y'all have got to connect. And so sure enough, he is delightful. Met him and his wife. So here's the cool part about Mike. He played for both the Falcons and the Saints, which is fantastic. But now he is the executive director of North Metro Miracle League. Now that's an organization that encourages folks with disabilities to play softball. He oversees 2 softball seasons for disabled folks and their families twice a year. So he's been doing this for quite a while. So part of the proceeds from this event will be going to that. So the good news is he's got a field there, but he's got a baseball field, but we're going to be getting on the football field. He's got a clubhouse. He's got 2 football fields at that location that he has full access to. So we've got a booklet that we have created to explain all things football. We're going to do some networking, which I think is very important because, getting out, sharing what you do. I want folks to try to help each other whenever they can, just like all of us do. There's going to be lunch involved. And what's really exciting, and the weather is looking really good right now, it's in the upper 40s. We're going to go outside and we're going to do drills on the football field. So I need y'all to come on down on Saturday so you can get on out there on the field with us and, do some drills. We're going to eat some barbecue. Mike's wife is going to share what it's like to be an NFL wife. And so this is something that's for everybody, folks who know all about the NFL and who could tell you who won the Super Bowl back in 1985. But it's also for folks who are newbies, because there are folks who really, some ladies, there's all kinds of things that you don't know. And when I've had these events before and I've brought out referees, even one time I had an NFLer said, wow, I didn't know that. And so, there's always something, the referee was talking about, if he keeps calling something on one side, he's got to make sure he calls stuff on the other team, too. And so he tries to even it out, and coaches are coming at him. That's another whole class.
Yeah, another conversation.
That's another whole conversation. So anyway, we're excited about it. We're going to get on the field and we're telling folks, wear your sneakers and wear something comfortable, because we're going to catch some balls. We're going to throw some balls. We're going to walk through some plays. I don't even know what all Mike is going to have us do. It's a surprise.
Cool. That is really cool. And to just have him in there and do that with that event, and he does it twice a year.
Nice.
Do you have working with any partners to do your partnership stuff like that as well?
Well, here's another thing, Mike. To Val's question earlier, Mike is already going to bring some other NFLers. He hadn't even told me who he's going to bring yet. So we've got the sports moms coming. We've got the people in business coming. We've got entrepreneurs coming. We even have a VIP experience where you'll get to spend more time on a Zoom call after the class. There's going to be a Zoom call with Mike and the other NFLer or NFLers and people in the sports industry, where you can ask questions, like the questions that you just have. So, so we tried to cover something that everybody would be interested in. I think we even put on the flyer here, guys are always invited, because, guys are going to want to ask questions of Mike and get on that field. Guys delight when they can get on that football field and run and jump and play and, like the women. So they want to show off a little bit and see if they still got it. So, I think we're going to have something for everybody.
That's good. That's a hell of a tie-in, because if I'm a mom and I'm just now trying to brand myself with you and your organization, and I get invited to something like this, I'm all in, because I'm not only learning from you, but now I get to see it firsthand, and I get to meet some professionals, and maybe, just maybe, one or two of the kids is there, maybe troubled kids. And now you get a chance to see these professionals, and you see the life that you could have if you maybe just change the way and what you're doing in the neighborhood, or what you're doing hanging out at the wrong time of the night. You know, and I think what you're doing is absolutely fabulous. This is wonderful. And I mentioned earlier, I told Val, I'm going to plug it with my girl, because I would love to see this on the other side. Rusha Brown. Rusha is huge in Atlanta, ex-WNBA. She just came off from the Police Athletic League. She had 165 girls into her event. So I think that if again, as you guys plug together, and these same moms that are going to these football events, you make the football moms come over to the basketball event, learn a little bit about that. And I think you'll have a well-rounded. I think you'll start something in Atlanta that you don't even know that all of a sudden just blossoming into a huge opportunity.
I would love to connect with her. So, hey, we need to move that forward. I'm looking out, and tell me her name again. You told me her name a little earlier, Rush.
Rusha.
Okay.
Yeah, Rusha Brown.
Connect with her. Yeah, and I saw that, I think it was in the previous commercial. So yeah, this is awesome stuff. I look forward to connecting with her. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and your guys just coming on with Haynes and the guys. Man, I love it. I remember his whole pro career. Let those guys know, man. If you want to, that'd be a great opportunity to get him on the show, just talk about his career, his background, then speak a little bit about what he's doing in Atlanta with you. That'd be absolutely huge. We're nationwide. Got a lot of different fans going to do a lot of different things. So it's a great opportunity.
Yes. I mean, working with the North Metro Miracle League and getting, folks, and I think it's like he said, their oldest athlete is in her 90s. So they get folks of all ages to get out and, play softball. They have volunteers, y'all, to help these folks run the bases. And he says,
she said 90s. So was she bunt or she hitting home runs?
I think she was hitting home runs. That's what I think.
Right. School around big, like, I got you. Don't even sweat. I got it.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's phenomenal what he's doing. And I know he would probably love to be on your show and get the word out, because actually they have that organization just like y'all nationwide. So, and I'd love to do something nationwide and with them as well. So all kinds of cool things can come out of this.
Man, that's just awesome.
Yes.
Val, you have something?
Well, I just wanted to say one other thing one of the picture that Val put up where it said, ask me, I worked with someone else who had a phenomenal idea. She said, why don't you make some people be ambassadors? So we had a watch party and folks could come and explain, and that was basketball. So that gentleman and his wife were both there to, to put up the little signs that say, ask me. They had lanyards that say, ask me. So we were kind of sitting together and, folks, and they would just explain what just happened. So,
Man, that's dope. And the reason why I said about the basketball piece on them, Melissa, is because if you look at when football season ends, why people get so excited, because basketball games are on every freaking night, right?
Yeah.
That's a fact. So you got the NBA and college basketball, and college basketball, like my high school, we're playing 27, 28 games. College plays about 35 to 37, and the pros play 82. So when it comes down to that, they watch a college game and look at that, and they go back and sit in their high school gym and say, LeBron them didn't do that like that last night, boy. And so they would sit down and, make that difference. So I think that is great, and that's perfect to have somebody who is connected, tied in, and know it very well, a coach or advocate of the sport, and to be able to say, well, what did he just do right there? Well, he called an illegal pick. What does that mean? That means that the kid was going to set a screen, but he started to move before the guy came off the ball. Oh, right. Okay. And then like football is a penalty with yards. Basketball is just simple a turnover. You take the ball out of bounds.
And learning what the terminology is for me has always been fun. Now you just said screen, and my brain was like, "Oh, I forgot what that meant." So it's always good to get those things with the first down. Like it's good to just break those things down. And so I'm grateful. The attractiveness of your website, and I put it in the chat, your website. If people wanted to know a little bit more about What Just Happened Sports, where would they go?
They can go to our website. I am actually, so What Just Happened Sports, all spelled out. I'm actually probably the most active on Instagram. So just go find What Just Happened Sports there. I do post some things on LinkedIn, not a lot, but we do have a page on LinkedIn. I was hot and heavy, but check us out mostly on Instagram under What Just Happened Sports. And the link in the bio for our weekend event is there. So we would love to have your listeners come and join us. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to make sure of it. We're going to have food. We're going to get out in that field. And so, thank you all so much for this opportunity. Love your show. I told Val a little bit early. I feel like I've just known her for about 2 or 3 years too, because I've been following you, Tony. And so, y'all keep me company sometimes when I travel. So, the show there. Yes. So thank you guys.
Hey, Val, I want you to know, Val, me and Melissa were originally going to put the show together. This is why I was telling you before you and I got a chance, before I jumped on the pull-up, we were already working with a situation where she had a show and I had one. We were going to jump out, do a show. I think it was called Me and She, or She and Me, or something like that. And so him and her, something like that. Or her, we had a funny, catchy name. But it's just so great to see you still grow in that space and doing some things. And what I'm going to do to help you out is I'm going to make sure that Val sends me that flyer, and I'm going to send that flyer to Rusha myself. And I also got my little nephew who made my pull-up podcast, the track. I'm going to send it to him because he's got a young son, got some kids he knows, some people. So I'll get it out in that Atlanta area to as many people I know so that we can help, make that a successful day for you guys.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all.
I know a few people in Atlanta, and it looks like we have some similar friends. I'd sent you a friend request via Facebook. So I'm like, okay, we talk all the time, the person that we have in common. So I'm grateful for that. And like I said, Melissa W. Anthony, What Just Happened Sports. What a wonderful thing. And of course, Coach, you want to tell people about what you do with the Rise.
Man, let me tell you something. If you want to check in to get an extension on what Melissa does on What Just Happened, this What's Just Happened right here, the Rise, NIL. And we're working with it today. I'm in the process of picking up a brand new athlete on board, a professional, hopefully a amateur golfer that's turning professional. So I'm excited about that. Talked to another young lady that's a high school track star today with the changes that's going about. The NCAA is making more and more changes to the NIL process. So if you really want to understand that field, and Melissa, you just mentioned a moment ago, hey, that's the industry or that's a section or sector that I need to know, then that's what you need to do is set up some time with me and the moms so they can jump on, because some of these mothers don't know the opportunity they may or may not be missing with their young kid playing sports with the NIL opportunity for those kids to make some money. So make sure you stay tuned with me on that.
Yes.
You can reach out to www.theRizeNIL.com to find more information. And my girl right here, right below me, right up in here, Val, tell them a little bit about how DJ saved your life.
Well, this is the ebook, and it is a personal memoir and of how being a virtual DJ and doing podcasting saved my life during the most turbulent time of the pandemic. So, of course, if you guys want to know a little bit more, and of course, to get merch like what you're seeing here, the Pull Up Podcast Show, go to purelightHousemedia.net to order the book or to order merch. And then tomorrow night is Interlude Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. Now, we're not going to be reviewing the Upshaws. That was last week. But we're going to be chit-chatting about who's performing, and does it matter who performs at things like inauguration ball. So we're going to be chit-chatting about that, 1, 2, 3, into the 4. I don't know.
I'm tuning into that one. I'm same time, 8 o'clock y'all's time, 9 o'clock Eastern. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cause we know and me and Val was hot and heavy today on that conversation. So we're gonna make sure everybody pull up and check us out. But more importantly, Melissa, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Appreciate you very much. Hope this was very informative. Val, you talking about running somebody down. This is my girl. I've been running her down for damn near 9 months to get up. Look, girl, come on. I just said, you know something? I ain't running down no more. You getting up on the show, period. So that worked out great. So it's beautiful to have an event at the time she comes on because it makes it even more meaningful. It's great.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Thank you, guys.
And we're celebrating. I meant to say this and I meant to have a slide, but I didn't create it. 1 year anniversary is today for the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Hey, I didn't want to tell you. Hey, Melissa, I didn't want to tell you that, Melissa. That's why I set you up. I set you up because you was my girl, and I had to have somebody I know that was special. So 30 years at 30. So now you can be like, oh my God, boom.
Oh, no, I got to come to the birthday party. All right, I got to. Thank you. That's really exciting.
We'll see you guys on tomorrow night. But what's your words, Coach?
Hey, man, I love you guys, but you know my words, and I'm out.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's